What's going on, family? Hey, welcome to the Manny Arango Ministries YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about some leadership content. I'm going to give you one leadership nugget that I believe can take your ministry, your organization, your nonprofit to the next level. I think there are 3 levels of leaders, and before we even get into those 3 levels, how about you hit that subscribe button? We want you to make sure that you get post notifications every time there's new content on the channel. We post weekly, and I want to make sure that you don't miss out on this content. I want to make sure that you're sharing it. I want to make sure you're dropping us some comments in the comment section. Here we go. Let's get into it. There are 3 levels of leaders, and because I'm a preacher, I love alliteration, and so we're gonna call these the triple D's of leadership, okay? The triple D's of leadership. That makes it memorable. You're not gonna forget it. The triple D's of leadership. The first level of leadership is actually the lowest level of leadership, and those are people who are doers. Sometimes in church, especially in church, people get elevated to a position of leadership just because they're faithful. They're good at doing the task that people ask them to do. If you show up every week and if you do what you're asked to do, a lot of the time someone's gonna probably give you some more responsibility. So the lowest level, I don't even want to make it seem like I'm giving these people a hard time, because they are leaders. Some people aren't even leaders, all right? So they're not even on this list. If you're a doer, you're typically the kind of person who it's hard for you to move to stage number 2, okay? You're gonna know right off the bat if you're a doer, because it's hard for you to then become a delegator, okay? Doing is the first level of leadership. You gotta work hard. You gotta show up. I mean, you just have to lead by example. You can't expect other people to put in the work if you don't put in the work, all right? So the first level of leadership is being a doer. And to be honest, these levels are cumulative, because even when you become a delegator, that means that the people who you've delegated responsibility to have now freed you up to do what only you can do. The moment that we got a team around us with our ministry context, it freed me up to study more, to write more sermons, to write more content, to write books, okay? So instead of setting up the sanctuary with chairs, it's not like I did less, I just did what only I could do. That's the goal of great leadership, is to do what only you can do. What are the things that literally no one else in your organization can do? And I want you to do those things, because the moment you're doing something that someone else could do, you're robbing them of an opportunity to grow into who God wants them to be. So the first level of leadership are doers. Those are the people at the bottom rung. And we got to challenge you to not just be a doer, but to be a delegator. Let me help you with this. If you delegate, I know this is gonna hurt you. You're gonna cringe a little. Ooh, for all the perfectionists out there, this is gonna sting. When you delegate, there will always be a dip in quality the moment you delegate. But here's what you have to do as a leader. You have to equip through the dip. What'll typically happen is when you are doing something, you do it with excellence because, man, you care about it. You're invested more than anybody else. So you have an attention to details. You want things to be done a certain way. Typically, leaders are particular. People on my team used to call me picky. I got on them and I taught them that picky is not what you call leaders. Leaders aren't picky. They just want things done with a spirit of excellence. We'll do a whole nother video on excellence at some point. So when you delegate, you can expect, let's say the level of quality was right here, okay? You can expect that the level of quality is gonna dip. But if you equip people through the dip, then the level of quality will actually rise to a place that you were not able to bring it. You've got to equip through the dip. A lot of times, once doers become delegators, they then freak out and they try to then micromanage the person that is now the doer but you can't micromanage people. Actually, micromanagement is an insult to their intelligence. And if you micromanage, you will begin to get a reputation as a micromanager. And really gifted, really talented, really smart people will not want to be led by you. I promise you. If you micromanage, you will only ever have robots. You will not have insanely qualified, gifted people, because no one that is worth their value wants to be micromanaged. Here we go. First level, doers. You got to do something if you're going to be a leader. You can't be lazy. You got to work hard. You got to show up. The next level are delegators. Here we go. The last level. The level that I don't think a lot of people attain to. After you're doing a lot, after you delegate a lot, you then want to develop people. In the realm of leadership, in the realm of ministry, in the realm of business, there are three kinds of leaders. There are doers, there are delegators, and then there are developers. People who develop leaders. People who disciple people in the area of leadership. You want to develop people so that you can kind of be hands off and do what only you can do. What is it going to take to develop the talents within other people? Well, maybe that's going to take, doing some personality profiles with them, getting them to know what their strengths are, really having some hands-on coaching with them. You want to develop people, because when you develop people, you add such a significant amount of resource and creativity and brilliance to your organization. The best thing we have at our disposal are the gifts that God has placed in other people. And a lot of times those gifts do not come to us in their refined state. They come to us as leaders in their raw state. I can think of so many leaders on our team as we served in the local church who, when they first started serving, they had raw gifts. And we just developed them. I want to say this. A person cannot carry more than their character. So when you develop people, we're not just talking about tasks. We're not just talking about their capacity. We're actually talking about the totality of who that person is. Development means that we care about the whole person. If they have a weight issue, that's something that we're going to address. I'm here to develop you and disciple you. If your marriage needs help, I'm here to develop you and disciple you. Whatever's going on in your life, I am here to develop you and disciple you, because we don't believe that people's lives are compartmentalized. We believe that everyone's life is actually very, very integrated. And so I can do a lot, I can delegate a lot, but the moment I start to develop people, we're going to have to do life with them, and they're going to have to get to know me, and I'm going to have to get to know them. And I open myself up. And a lot of leaders, they don't develop people because simply they don't want to be vulnerable with people. They don't want people to see who they are behind the scenes. And developing people takes a long time. Developing a person could take half a decade or more. Development takes time. However, there's a huge return on your investment when you choose to develop God's greatest resource, which is the people around you. Hey, I want you to assess, which level are you on? Are you a doer? Are you a delegator? Or are you a developer? And based on where you are, how can you challenge others around you to move up, to maybe meet you where you are, or to level up? I want you to grow your organization. I want you to grow it in a healthy way. And if this content today added value to you, how about you leave us a comment? How about you subscribe? And more than that, hey, come on, send this link to a friend that also needs to move from doing to delegating to developing. We'll see you next week.